The year was 2005. Hurricane Katrina, a name forever etched in our memories, slammed into the Gulf Coast. The images were devastating: flooded streets, homes ripped apart, families displaced. Katrina's wrath left a scar on America, a stark reminder of nature's raw power. It serves as a chilling testament to the destructive force of hurricanes. The storm surge, the relentless winds, the torrential rainfall, all combined to create a catastrophe of unprecedented proportions. The human toll was immeasurable. Over 1,800 lives were lost, and the economic impact was staggering, reaching into the billions. Katrina exposed the vulnerability of our coastlines and the urgent need for preparedness. It forced us to confront the reality of increasingly powerful storms. As we move further away from that fateful year, the memory of Katrina serves as a stark reminder. We are reminded of the ever-present threat posed by hurricanes, particularly in a world grappling with the impacts of climate change. The question lingers: are we prepared for the next Katrina, for the next big one? The legacy of Katrina extends far beyond the immediate aftermath. It's a story etched in the hearts of survivors, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the unpredictable nature of these storms. The physical scars have largely healed, but the emotional wounds run deep. We see the resilience of the human spirit, the unwavering determination to rebuild and recover. From the ashes of destruction, communities emerge stronger, bound by shared experiences and a fierce commitment to their homes. But the trauma remains, a haunting reminder of the day the levees broke and chaos ensued. The story of Katrina is not just a story of devastation, but also one of resilience. It's about communities coming together, rebuilding their lives and supporting their neighbors in the face of unimaginable loss. It's a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure, to adapt, and to overcome adversity. Yet, as we rebuild and fortify, a new question arises. Will it be enough? As climate change continues to impact our weather patterns, are we doing enough to prepare for the next big storm? Hurricane season is upon us once again, and with it comes a sense of unease. The Atlantic Ocean churns, a cauldron of unpredictable energy. Each storm season brings a new set of variables, a complex interplay of atmospheric conditions that can fuel or hinder these powerful cyclones. The science behind hurricane formation is complex, a delicate balance of ocean temperatures, wind shear, and atmospheric pressure. Slight shifts in these factors can mean the difference between a weak tropical storm and a monster hurricane. The uncertainty is unsettling. Will this be a year of frequent storms, or will we experience a relatively quiet season? Will we face another Harvey, Irma, or Maria, names that evoke memories of recent devastation? This year, the question on everyone's mind is, will hurricane season 2024 be tougher than previous years? The answer, unfortunately, is not simple. Meteorologists and climatologists are closely monitoring various factors, analyzing data, and running complex models to try and predict the season's intensity. Early predictions suggest a potentially active season, but predicting the path and intensity of hurricanes is an inexact science. The truth is, we live in a time of increasing climatic uncertainty. Global warming is impacting our planet in ways we are only beginning to understand. One thing is certain: the stakes are higher than ever. Our coastlines are more populated, our infrastructure more vulnerable. The potential for widespread damage and disruption is immense. Section 5. The science behind the storm. To understand the potential threat of the 2024 hurricane season, we need to delve into the science behind these powerful storms. Hurricanes are fueled by warm ocean water. As the surface water evaporates, it rises and cools, forming clouds and releasing heat. This process creates an area of low pressure, drawing in more air and causing the air to spin. Several factors influence hurricane intensity. Warmer ocean temperatures provide more fuel, leading to stronger storms. Climate change, with its warming effect on ocean waters, is a significant concern. Additionally, low wind shear, the change in wind speed and direction with height, allows hurricanes to develop their characteristic vertical structure and intensify. Finally, atmospheric conditions, such as the presence of dry air or dust, can impact hurricane development. Understanding these factors is crucial for predicting hurricane activity and preparing for potential impacts. Section 1. The heat is on. Section 2. A warming world. A brewing storm. Section 3. The El Niño effect. Section 4. The calm before the storm. Section 5. The Atlantic anomaly. Section 6. The science of prediction. The heat is on. Hurricanes draw energy from warm, moist air rising above the ocean. This air rises, cools, and condenses into clouds, releasing heat. This cycle creates powerful updrafts, fueling the storm's growth. Ocean temperatures have been rising, linked to global warming. Warmer oceans mean stronger hurricanes with more intense impacts. The link between climate change and hurricane intensity is complex and multifaceted, but the underlying principle is straightforward. A warmer world is a world more vulnerable to extreme weather events, including hurricanes. As the Earth's average temperature continues to climb, driven by human activities that release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, we are witnessing a cascade of effects that are impacting our climate system. One of the most significant impacts of climate change is the warming of our oceans. The oceans act as a massive heat sink, absorbing over 90% of the excess heat trapped by greenhouse gases. This warming trend is not uniform across the globe, with some regions, like the North Atlantic, experiencing more rapid warming than others. This uneven warming can alter atmospheric circulation patterns, influencing wind shear, jet stream behavior, and the formation of weather systems, including hurricanes. The delicate balance that governs our planet's climate is being disrupted, leading to more frequent and intense extreme weather events. The scientific consensus is clear. Climate change is real. It's driven by human activities, and it's already impacting our planet in profound ways. The engine of a hurricane is heat, specifically the heat absorbed by ocean water. Like a giant engine, hurricanes draw energy from the warm, moist air rising above the ocean's surface. This warm air rises and cools, condensing into clouds and releasing even more heat. This cycle of rising air and condensation creates a powerful updraft, pulling in more air from the surrounding area and fueling the storm's growth. Ocean temperatures have been steadily rising over the past century, a trend directly linked to global warming. As greenhouse gases trap more heat in the atmosphere, our oceans are absorbing vast amounts of this excess energy. The result is a warming trend that is particularly pronounced in hurricane-prone regions like the Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico. This warming trend has significant implications for hurricane intensity. Warmer ocean temperatures provide more fuel for hurricanes to draw upon, leading to stronger winds, heavier rainfall, and larger storm surges. In essence, climate change is creating a more favorable environment for hurricanes to thrive. The link between climate change and hurricane intensity is complex and multifaceted, but the underlying principle is straightforward. A warmer world is a world more vulnerable to extreme weather events, including hurricanes. As the Earth's average temperature continues to climb, driven by human activities that release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, we are witnessing a cascade of effects that are impacting our climate system. One of the most significant impacts of climate change is the warming of our oceans. The oceans act as a massive heat sink, absorbing over 90% of the excess heat trapped by greenhouse gases. This warming trend is not uniform across the globe, with some regions, like the North Atlantic, experiencing more rapid warming than others. This uneven warming can alter atmospheric circulation patterns, influencing wind shear, jet stream behavior, and the formation of weather systems, including hurricanes. The delicate balance that governs our planet's climate is being disrupted, leading to more frequent and intense extreme weather events. The scientific consensus is clear. Climate change is real. It's driven by human activities, and it's already impacting our planet in profound ways. The increasing frequency and intensity of hurricanes are just one manifestation of this changing climate. While rising ocean temperatures provide the fuel for hurricanes, other climate patterns can influence their formation and intensity. One such pattern is the El Niño Southern Oscillation, or ENSO, a climate pattern characterized by periodic warming and cooling of surface waters in the central and eastern tropical Pacific Ocean. During an El Niño event, the trade winds weaken, allowing warm water to pile up along the west coast of South America. This disrupts normal weather patterns across the globe, typically leading to increased rainfall in the eastern Pacific and drier conditions in the western Pacific and parts of the Atlantic. For the Atlantic hurricane season, El Niño conditions typically result in increased wind shear, the change in wind speed and direction with height, over the Caribbean Sea and Gulf of Mexico. This increased wind shear can tear apart developing storms, making it more difficult for hurricanes to form and intensify. Conversely, during a La Niña event, the trade winds strengthen, pushing warm water towards the western Pacific and enhancing the temperature difference across the Pacific. This typically leads to decreased wind shear over the Atlantic, creating more favorable conditions for hurricane formation and intensification. As we enter the 2024 hurricane season, the tropical Pacific is in a neutral ENSO state, meaning neither El Niño nor La Niña conditions are present. This neutrality makes predicting the season's activity more challenging, as the influence of ENSO on Atlantic hurricane activity is absent. However, forecasters are closely monitoring other climate factors that could influence the upcoming season. One such factor is the Atlantic Multi-Decadal Oscillation, or AMO, a climate cycle that affects sea surface temperatures in the North Atlantic Ocean over a period of several decades. The AMO is currently in a warm phase, which is associated with warmer than average sea surface temperatures in the tropical Atlantic. This warm phase of the AMO can contribute to more favorable conditions for hurricane development and intensification. With a neutral ENSO state and a warm AMO phase, the 2024 hurricane season presents a complex picture for forecasters. The absence of a strong El Niño signal suggests the potential for an active season, but other factors, such as wind shear and atmospheric conditions, will play a crucial role in shaping the season's activity. Adding to the complexity of the 2024 hurricane season forecast is an unusual phenomenon in the North Atlantic, a large area of exceptionally warm water, sometimes referred to as a marine heat wave. This anomaly, located south of Greenland and extending towards the British Isles, has been observed for several months and is unprecedented in recorded history. The exact cause of this marine heat wave is still under investigation, but scientists believe it could be related to a combination of factors, including changes in atmospheric circulation patterns, ocean currents, and human-caused climate change. The unusually warm water in this region has the potential to impact weather patterns across the North Atlantic, including the development and track of hurricanes. While it's too early to say definitively how this North Atlantic warm water anomaly will affect the 2024 hurricane season, its presence adds another layer of uncertainty to an already complex forecast. Scientists are closely monitoring this anomaly and its potential impacts, both on the current hurricane season and on long-term climate patterns. Section 6. The Science of Prediction. Predicting the path and intensity of hurricanes is a complex and challenging task, even with advanced technology and sophisticated computer models. Meteorologists rely on a combination of historical data, real-time observations, and sophisticated computer models to forecast hurricane activity. One of the key tools in hurricane forecasting is numerical weather prediction, which uses complex computer models to simulate atmospheric and oceanic conditions. These models are constantly being refined and improved as our understanding of the atmosphere and oceans grows. Despite these advancements, predicting the exact path and intensity of a hurricane remains an inexact science. Hurricanes are complex systems, influenced by a multitude of factors that can interact in unpredictable ways. Small changes in atmospheric conditions can lead to significant shifts in a hurricane's track or intensity. The inherent uncertainty in hurricane forecasting highlights the importance of preparedness. While we can't predict with certainty when and where a hurricane will strike, we can take steps to prepare for the potential impacts. Section 7. Eyes on the skies. In recent decades, technological advancements have revolutionized our ability to monitor and track hurricanes. Satellites, radar systems, and reconnaissance aircraft provide a constant stream of data, giving meteorologists an unprecedented view of these powerful storms. Satellites orbiting Earth provide crucial information about a hurricane's location, size, and structure. Infrared sensors measure cloud top temperatures, providing insights into the storm's intensity. Microwave sensors can penetrate through clouds, revealing the structure of the hurricane's eye and rain bands. Ground-based radar systems provide high-resolution data on rainfall intensity, wind speed, and storm surge. Doppler radar can detect the rotation of a hurricane's eye wall, providing crucial information about the storm's strength and potential for tornadoes. Hurricane hunter aircraft flown by organizations like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, and the U.S. Air Force Reserve fly directly into hurricanes to collect data. These brave crews deploy instruments called dropsondes, which measure wind speed, direction, temperature, pressure, and humidity as they descend through the storm. Section 8. Supercomputers and storm surges. The data collected from satellites, radar systems, and reconnaissance aircraft is fed into sophisticated computer models that simulate hurricane development and movement. These models, run on powerful supercomputers, help meteorologists predict the potential track, intensity, and impacts of a hurricane. One of the most significant advancements in hurricane forecasting has been the development of storm surge models. Storm surge, the abnormal rise in sea level caused by a hurricane's powerful winds, is often the deadliest and most destructive hazard associated with these storms. Storm surge models take into account factors such as a hurricane's intensity, size, forward speed, track, and the coastal topography to predict the height and extent of potential inundation. These models are crucial for informing evacuation decisions and mitigating the impacts of storm surge. The increasing accuracy and sophistication of hurricane forecasting models have undoubtedly saved countless lives and reduced property damage. As we grapple with the potential for a more active and intense hurricane season in 2024, it's important to acknowledge that our perception of what constitutes a normal hurricane season may be shifting. Climate change is altering our planet's climate system, leading to more frequent and intense extreme weather events, including hurricanes. The hurricane seasons of recent years, with their record-breaking storms and devastating impacts, serve as a stark reminder of the destructive power of these events. While it's difficult to attribute any single hurricane directly to climate change, the overall trend is clear. A warmer world is a world more vulnerable to extreme weather. Building codes and infrastructure must be strengthened to withstand more powerful storms. Coastal communities need to develop comprehensive disaster preparedness plans. While the science of hurricane forecasting continues to advance, the human element remains a crucial factor in mitigating the impacts of these powerful storms. Effective communication, timely evacuations, and individual preparedness are essential for saving lives and reducing property damage. Meteorologists play a vital role in communicating hurricane forecasts to the public, but it's up to individuals to heed those warnings and take appropriate action. Evacuation orders should be taken seriously, as even a small deviation from a predicted track can have significant consequences. Having a disaster supply kit, knowing your evacuation route, and staying informed about the latest forecasts can make a life or death difference in a hurricane situation. While we can't control the weather, we can control our preparedness. By understanding the science of hurricanes, heeding the warnings of experts, and taking steps to prepare, we can minimize the impacts of these powerful storms and build more resilient communities. Each spring, as the days grow longer and the ocean temperatures rise, a specialized group of scientists takes center stage hurricane forecasters. Tasked with predicting the unpredictable, these modern-day prophets of the storm analyze vast amounts of data, consult complex computer models, and offer their best assessments of what the upcoming hurricane season may hold. Among these respected voices are the experts at the National Hurricane Center, a division of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Each year, the NHC issues its official Atlantic hurricane season outlook, providing a range of potential storms, hurricanes, and major hurricanes that could form during the season. These forecasts are based on decades of research, historical data analysis, and the latest advancements in meteorological science. Factors such as sea surface temperatures, wind shear patterns, and the presence or absence of El Niño or La Niña conditions are all carefully considered. For the 2024 hurricane season, the forecasts are in, and they paint a picture of uncertainty, a season teetering on the edge of what could be an active and potentially destructive period. The consensus among most leading forecasting agencies is for a season with activity slightly above the long-term average. The NHC, for example, predicts a 40% chance of an above-normal season, a 30% chance of a near-normal season, and a 30% chance of a below-normal season. These probabilities highlight the inherent challenges in predicting the whims of nature, particularly when it comes to hurricanes. Several factors contribute to this uncertainty. The unusual warm water anomaly in the North Atlantic adds another layer of complexity to the forecast. How this anomaly will interact with developing storms and potentially influence their tracks and intensity remains an open question, one that scientists are closely monitoring. In their quest to unravel the mysteries of hurricane formation and movement, forecasters have at their disposal an arsenal of technological marvels, from space-based satellites to supercomputers capable of crunching unimaginable amounts of data. These tools have revolutionized our understanding of hurricanes and significantly improved our ability to predict their behavior. Satellites, orbiting high above the Earth, provide a constant stream of data, capturing images of developing storms, measuring wind speeds, and tracking the movement of clouds. These eyes in the sky are essential for monitoring hurricane development, particularly in remote ocean basins where ground-based observations are limited. Ground-based radar systems, strategically positioned along coastlines, provide high-resolution data on rainfall intensity, wind speed, and storm surge. Doppler radar, with its ability to detect the rotation of a hurricane's eye wall, is particularly valuable for assessing the potential for tornadoes and other severe weather associated with these storms. Hurricane Hunter aircraft, flown by courageous crews, collect vital data by flying directly into the heart of a hurricane, releasing dropsondes that measure atmospheric conditions as they descend through the storm. As technology continues to advance at an unprecedented pace, the field of hurricane forecasting is on the cusp of a new era, one driven by the transformative power of artificial intelligence. AI, with its ability to analyze vast amounts of data, identify patterns, and make predictions, holds immense promise for improving the accuracy and timeliness of hurricane forecasts. Scientists are already developing AI-powered models that can analyze satellite imagery, radar data, and other meteorological information to identify developing storms, predict their tracks, and estimate their intensity. These models can learn from historical data and adapt to changing conditions, potentially providing more accurate and timely forecasts than ever before. One of the most promising applications of AI in hurricane forecasting is in the area of rapid intensification, where a hurricane's maximum sustained wind speeds increase rapidly over a short period. AI models, trained on vast datasets of past hurricanes, may be able to identify the telltale signs of rapid intensification earlier than traditional methods, providing crucial extra time for preparations. Despite the remarkable advancements in technology and the increasing sophistication of our forecasting models, predicting the behavior of hurricanes remains an inherently uncertain endeavor. These powerful storms are complex systems, influenced by a multitude of factors that can interact in unpredictable ways. The atmosphere is a fluid and dynamic environment, constantly changing in response to variations in temperature, pressure, and moisture. Small changes in these variables can have significant impacts on a hurricane's track, intensity, and forward speed, making precise predictions challenging, even over short timescales. Our understanding of the complex interplay between the atmosphere and the ocean, particularly in the context of hurricane development, is still evolving. Factors such as ocean heat content, upper ocean currents, and the role of underwater topography can all influence a hurricane's behavior in ways that we are only beginning to fully comprehend. The inherent uncertainty in hurricane forecasting highlights the importance of humility and caution. One of the most recognizable tools used to communicate hurricane forecasts to the public is the cone of uncertainty, often referred to as the cone of concern. This cone-shaped graphic, issued by the National Hurricane Center, depicts the probable track of a hurricane's center over a given time period, typically 3 to 5 days. The cone of uncertainty is not intended to represent the size of the storm or the area that will be impacted. Rather, it represents the uncertainty in the forecast track, with the cone widening over time to reflect the increasing uncertainty in the storm's future movement. It's crucial to understand that the entire area within the cone is at risk. A hurricane is not a single point, but a large, swirling system of winds, rain, and storm surge. The cone of uncertainty serves as a visual reminder of the inherent uncertainty in hurricane forecasting and the importance of being prepared for a range of potential outcomes. While hurricane forecasts often focus on the numbers, wind speed, storm surge height, rainfall amounts, it's essential to remember that behind these statistics lie real-world impacts, often devastating in their scope and scale. Hurricanes are not just meteorological events. They are human tragedies that can upend lives, shatter communities, and leave lasting scars on the landscape. The loss of life, the displacement of families, the destruction of homes and businesses. These are the human costs of these powerful storms, costs that cannot be measured in dollars and cents alone. Preparing for and responding to the threat of hurricanes is not just the responsibility of government agencies or emergency responders. It is a shared responsibility that requires the active participation of individuals, communities, and society as a whole. We all have a role to play in building more resilient communities and minimizing the impacts of these powerful storms. Individual preparedness is paramount. Having a disaster supply kit, knowing your evacuation route, and staying informed about the latest forecasts can make a life or death difference in a hurricane situation. Community engagement is equally important. Strong social networks and active neighborhood associations can play a vital role in disseminating information, coordinating preparedness efforts, and supporting vulnerable populations during and after a hurricane. At the societal level, we must invest in resilient infrastructure, strengthen building codes, and implement policies that mitigate the impacts of climate change, a key driver of more intense hurricanes. In the face of adversity, the human spirit shines brightest. Time and again, in the aftermath of hurricanes, we witness the extraordinary resilience, compassion, and generosity of communities coming together to support one another. Neighbors helping neighbors, strangers lending a hand, volunteers pouring in from far and wide. These acts of kindness and solidarity are a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. Community organizations, faith-based groups, and nonprofits play a vital role in disaster response and recovery. From providing food, shelter, and medical care to assisting with debris removal and rebuilding efforts, these groups are often the first responders and the last to leave, working tirelessly to help communities heal and rebuild. The recovery process after a hurricane can be long and arduous, but it is often in these challenging times that communities discover their true strength. The shared experience of loss, the collective effort to rebuild, and the unwavering determination to overcome adversity can forge unbreakable bonds that bind communities together for years to come. As we navigate the uncertainties of the 2024 hurricane season and beyond, one thing is certain: preparation is key. While we cannot control the weather or prevent hurricanes from forming, we can control our readiness to face these powerful storms and minimize their impact on our lives and communities. Preparation is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. It requires staying informed about the latest forecasts, having a plan in place, and regularly reviewing and updating that plan as needed. In a world increasingly impacted by climate change, the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events, including hurricanes, are likely to increase. This new reality demands a proactive approach to preparedness, one that emphasizes adaptation, resilience, and a collective commitment to protecting our communities. Let us prepare today so that when the winds howl and the rains fall, we can face the storm with confidence, knowing that we have done everything in our power to keep ourselves, our loved ones, and our communities safe. As we contemplate the potential ferocity of the 2024 hurricane season, it's essential to look back at the storms of the past, to learn from the lessons etched in the debris and the resilience of communities rebuilt. Each hurricane, a unique fingerprint of fury, offers valuable insights into the destructive power of nature and the importance of preparedness. From the Great Miami Hurricane of 1926, which reshaped a burgeoning city, to the unprecedented flooding of Hurricane Harvey in 2017, history is replete with stark reminders of the vulnerability of coastal communities to these powerful storms. Each storm, a story unto itself, offers a glimpse into the chaos and heartbreak that can unfold when nature unleashes its fury. But amidst the devastation, there are always stories of survival, of communities coming together to rebuild, of the indomitable human spirit refusing to be broken. By studying the tracks, intensities, and impacts of past hurricanes, scientists and emergency managers can better understand the risks we face and develop strategies to mitigate those risks. In the annals of hurricane history, certain storms stand out for their sheer ferocity. Hurricane Andrew, a Category 5 monster, slammed into South Florida in August 1992. Andrew's wrath was swift and merciless. Packing winds of 165 miles per hour, it tore through South Florida. Homes were reduced to rubble, businesses flattened, trees stripped bare, branches scattered like matchsticks. The storm surge inundated coastal communities, transforming streets into raging rivers. Over 63,000 homes were destroyed, leaving tens of thousands homeless. Andrew's impact extended far beyond the immediate physical damage. The storm exposed weaknesses in building codes, highlighted the importance of hurricane-resistant construction. In the aftermath, South Florida focused on rebuilding and strengthening communities against future storms. Hurricane Katrina, a storm forever etched in memory, brought devastation to New Orleans. A Category 5 hurricane, Katrina's storm surge overwhelmed levees, inundating the city. The Superdome became a shelter for tens of thousands of displaced residents. Desperate pleas for help came from those stranded on rooftops. The devastation stretched for miles along the Gulf Coast. Katrina's death toll exceeded 1,800. The storm caused over $160 billion in damage. Beyond statistics lies a story of human suffering and communities forever changed. Just 2 years after Katrina, another powerful hurricane, Maria, devastated Puerto Rico. Maria, a Category 5 hurricane, made landfall on September 20, 2017, bringing catastrophic winds and flooding. The storm's powerful winds, at 175 miles per hour, destroyed homes and infrastructure. The storm surge and heavy rainfall caused widespread flooding, cutting off essential services. Maria caused $90 billion in damage, leaving millions without power, clean water, or health care. In August 2017, as the Gulf Coast reeled from the devastation of Hurricane Harvey, a new term entered the meteorological lexicon: rain bomb. Harvey, a slow-moving behemoth that stalled over southeast Texas for days, dumped record-breaking amounts of rain, transforming streets into rivers, homes into islands, and leaving behind a trail of destruction unlike anything seen before. Over 6 days, Harvey unleashed over 60 inches of rain on parts of southeast Texas, more than any other tropical cyclone in U.S. history. The relentless deluge overwhelmed drainage systems, causing widespread and catastrophic flooding. Homes were inundated, businesses submerged, and major highways transformed into impassable waterways. Harvey's impact extended far beyond the immediate flood zone. The storm shut down oil refineries, disrupted supply chains, and caused billions of dollars in damage to homes, businesses, and infrastructure. The human toll was equally devastating, with over 100 confirmed fatalities and countless lives upended by the storm's wrath. Harvey served as a stark reminder of the changing nature of hurricanes in a warming world. As climate change continues to fuel more extreme rainfall events, storms like Harvey, once considered rare, may become more frequent and intense, posing unprecedented challenges for coastal communities. As we delve into the history of hurricanes, one overarching theme emerges: the inherent unpredictability of nature. While scientists have made significant strides in understanding and forecasting these powerful storms, there are still many unknowns, many variables that can influence a hurricane's track, intensity, and impact. Hurricanes are complex systems, influenced by a multitude of factors, including ocean temperatures, atmospheric pressure, wind shear, and the presence or absence of other weather patterns. Small changes in any of these variables can have a cascading effect, leading to significant shifts in a hurricane's behavior. The chaotic nature of the atmosphere means that even the most sophisticated computer models, fed with vast amounts of data, can only provide a range of possible outcomes. The cone of uncertainty, a staple of hurricane forecasts, serves as a visual reminder of this inherent unpredictability, highlighting the possibility that a storm can deviate from its predicted path. This unpredictability underscores the importance of preparedness. While we cannot control the weather or prevent hurricanes from forming, we can control our readiness to face these storms and minimize their impact on our lives and communities. Section 7. The rising tide of risk. As we look to the future of hurricanes, one trend is clear: the risk is rising. Climate change, driven by human activities that release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, is warming our planet. And these rising temperatures are having a profound impact on the frequency, intensity, and behavior of hurricanes. Warmer ocean temperatures provide more fuel for hurricanes, leading to more intense storms with higher wind speeds, heavier rainfall, and larger storm surges. A warmer atmosphere also holds more moisture, which can translate into increased rainfall and a higher risk of flooding. Climate change is also altering atmospheric circulation patterns, potentially influencing the tracks of hurricanes and increasing the likelihood of storms stalling over land, as we saw with Hurricane Harvey. These stalled storms can dump massive amounts of rain, leading to catastrophic flooding. The rising tide of risk from hurricanes is a global concern, but it is particularly acute in coastal communities, which are on the front lines of climate change. As sea levels rise, due to the expansion of warmer ocean water and the melting of glaciers and ice sheets, coastal areas become more vulnerable to storm surge, erosion, and flooding. Section 8. Beyond the statistics. While the statistics of past hurricanes, the wind speeds, rainfall totals, and damage estimates can be staggering, it's important to remember that behind these numbers lie human stories, stories of loss, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. Each hurricane leaves behind a trail of heartbreak, of families displaced, homes destroyed, and lives forever changed. The emotional toll of these events can be just as devastating as the physical damage, with survivors often facing long-term challenges related to trauma, displacement, and the loss of livelihoods. But amidst the devastation, there are always stories of hope, of neighbors helping neighbors, of communities coming together to rebuild, and of the indomitable human spirit refusing to be broken. These stories remind us that even in the darkest of times there is light, there is compassion, and there is always the strength to rise again. As we confront the growing threat of hurricanes in a changing climate, it's essential to remember the human cost of these events and to approach disaster preparedness and response with empathy, compassion, and a commitment to social equity. Section 9. The importance of perspective. As we grapple with the uncertainties of future hurricane seasons, it's important to maintain a sense of perspective. While the threat from hurricanes is real and growing, it's essential to avoid sensationalism and fear-mongering. Instead, we need to approach this challenge with a balanced perspective, grounded in science, informed by history, and driven by a commitment to preparedness and resilience. It's easy to get caught up in the hype surrounding hurricane season, to focus on the worst-case scenarios and the potential for catastrophic damage. But it's important to remember that not every hurricane season is a record breaker, and not every storm that forms poses a direct threat to land. That said, it's crucial to stay informed, to pay attention to the forecasts, and to have a plan in place in case a hurricane threatens our community. Preparedness is not about living in fear, it's about taking responsibility for our safety and the well-being of our loved ones. By staying informed, being prepared, and working together, we can navigate the challenges of hurricane season with resilience, minimize the impacts of these powerful storms, and build stronger, more resilient communities for the future. The future of hurricanes is inextricably linked to the future of our planet. As climate change continues to warm our world, we can expect to see changes in the behavior of hurricanes, including increases in intensity, rainfall, and the proportion of storms that rapidly intensify. The scientific community is actively engaged in research to better understand these changes and improve our ability to predict and prepare for future hurricanes. Advancements in computer modeling, satellite technology, and our understanding of the complex interplay between the atmosphere and the ocean are constantly improving our forecasting capabilities. But science alone cannot address the challenge of hurricanes in a changing climate. We also need to prioritize adaptation and resilience measures, such as strengthening building codes, investing in flood control infrastructure, and promoting sustainable land use practices that protect coastal ecosystems. The future of hurricanes is not predetermined. By taking action to address climate change, invest in resilient infrastructure, and promote community preparedness, we can reduce the risks posed by these powerful storms and create a safer, more sustainable future for coastal communities around the world. Statistics tell one story: the wind speeds, the rainfall totals, the economic costs. But the true measure of a hurricane's impact lies in the human stories, In the voices of those who have stared into the eye of the storm and emerged, forever changed, we hear the anguish of a mother, her voice trembling as she recounts the frantic search for her children amidst the wreckage of her home. These are the voices of hurricane survivors, each story a testament to the human capacity for resilience and hope amidst the ruins. The immediate aftermath of a hurricane is a scene of chaos and devastation. Homes reduced to rubble, streets littered with debris, the air thick with the stench of floodwater, and the cacophony of emergency sirens. But it's in the weeks, months, and years that follow that the true challenge of recovery emerges. The long, arduous journey back to normalcy, a journey fraught with both physical and emotional obstacles. For many survivors, the immediate priority is finding shelter, securing food and water, and tending to injuries. But as the initial shock subsides, the daunting task of rebuilding their lives takes center stage. Navigating insurance claims, securing government assistance, and finding contractors to repair their homes can be a bureaucratic nightmare, fraught with delays and frustrations. The emotional toll of the storm can be just as debilitating as the physical damage. Post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, and survivor's guilt are common among hurricane survivors, particularly those who have lost loved ones or experienced significant property damage. The long road back is not just about rebuilding homes and businesses. It's about rebuilding lives, restoring communities, and rediscovering a sense of hope and normalcy after the storm. Amidst the devastation of a hurricane, glimmers of hope shine through acts of compassion and selflessness. Strangers helping strangers reveal the true spirit of community. Volunteers bring essential supplies, offering lifelines of support. First responders risk their lives to rescue and aid survivors. Families open their homes to displaced neighbors. Community organizations and nonprofits provide unwavering support. These acts of kindness remind us of our unity and strength. While the physical scars of a hurricane may fade over time, the emotional and psychological wounds can linger long after the storm has passed, leaving invisible scars that can haunt survivors for years to come. The trauma of experiencing such a devastating event, the loss of loved ones, the stress of displacement and rebuilding, these are burdens that can weigh heavily on the human psyche. For some survivors, the trauma manifests as vivid nightmares, flashbacks, and panic attacks, the terror of the storm replaying in their minds long after the winds have subsided. Others struggle with anxiety, depression, and survivor's guilt, haunted by feelings of helplessness, loss, and the nagging question of what if. Children, particularly vulnerable to the emotional impacts of trauma, may exhibit regressive behaviors, withdraw from loved ones, or struggle to concentrate in school. The disruption to their routines, the loss of familiar surroundings, and the uncertainty of the future can be deeply unsettling for young minds. Recognizing and addressing the invisible scars of hurricanes is crucial for the long-term well-being of survivors. Mental health services, counseling, and support groups can provide a safe space for individuals to process their trauma, develop coping mechanisms, and begin the journey toward healing. The innocent eyes of a child can take on a different cast in the aftermath of a hurricane, a reflection of fear, confusion, and a loss of innocence. For children, the experience of a hurricane can be particularly traumatic, shaking their sense of security. The sights and sounds of a hurricane can be terrifying for young children, leaving them feeling vulnerable. The displacement from their homes and the loss of familiar belongings can further exacerbate their anxiety. In the aftermath, it's crucial to provide children with a sense of safety and routine. Reassuring them and creating a structured environment can help them cope and begin healing. With love and support, children can emerge from the storm stronger and more adaptable. The immediate aftermath of a hurricane may be characterized by chaos and despair, but it's also a time when the indomitable human spirit shines through. As the initial shock subsides, communities rally, neighbors help neighbors, and the arduous task of rebuilding begins. Brick by brick, hope by hope, dream by dream. The process of rebuilding after a hurricane is not just about restoring physical structures. It's about rebuilding lives, rekindling hope, and restoring a sense of community. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit that even in the face of such devastation, people find the strength to pick up the pieces and create something new, something stronger, something better. The rebuilding process is often a collective effort, with neighbors helping neighbors clear debris, volunteers pouring in from surrounding areas, and community organizations mobilizing resources to support those in need. It's a time when differences are set aside, and a shared sense of purpose unites people from all walks of life. Rebuilding after a hurricane is a long and challenging process, but it's also an opportunity to create more resilient communities, to strengthen social bonds, and to build a future where the lessons learned from the storm inform a safer, more sustainable way of life. In the shadow of devastation, hope can seem like a fragile flicker, easily extinguished by the overwhelming scale of loss. Yet, even amidst the ruins, hope persists, fueled by the resilience of the human spirit. We find hope in the laughter of children playing amongst the debris. It resonates in the stories of survival and courage. Even after the storm, the sun will rise again. Resilience, that remarkable human capacity to adapt, to cope, to overcome adversity, is often tested to its limits in the aftermath of a hurricane. Yet, time and again, we witness the extraordinary ability of individuals, families, and communities to not only survive, but to emerge from the storm stronger, more connected, and more determined than ever before. Resilience is not about escaping unscathed. It's about acknowledging the pain, learning from the experience, and finding ways to move forward. It's about drawing strength from within, from the support of loved ones, and from the shared experience of community. We see resilience in the first responders who work tirelessly to save lives, their own exhaustion and grief overshadowed by their unwavering commitment to helping others. We see it in the survivors who, despite losing everything, find the strength to rebuild their homes, their businesses, their lives. Resilience is not a character trait we are born with. It's a skill, a muscle that is developed through facing challenges, overcoming obstacles, and learning from our experiences. It's about embracing the journey, both the triumphs and the setbacks, and trusting in our ability to weather life's storms. As communities rebuild from a hurricane, there comes a time for reflection, to honor the past and remember those lost, to acknowledge the challenges overcome and embrace the future with renewed purpose. Honoring the past is about learning from the experience and creating a safer future. Embracing the future requires a shift in perspective and a willingness to embrace change. It's about growth, innovation, and renewal. By working together, communities can emerge stronger, more connected, and more resilient. The stories of hurricane survivors serve as a powerful call to action, a reminder that preparing for hurricanes is a collective obligation we all share. Climate change, driven by human activities, increases the frequency and intensity of hurricanes. It's a global challenge that demands a global response, requiring us to rethink our relationship with the planet. Investing in resilient infrastructure and promoting responsible land use planning are crucial steps. Early warning systems and community preparedness programs are essential for saving lives. Preparedness goes beyond physical infrastructure and emergency response plans. It's about fostering a culture of resilience, valuing community engagement and social equity. The threat of hurricanes is real and growing. By acknowledging the risks and working together, we can create a safer, more sustainable future. The stories of those who have weathered the storms remind us that hope endures and resilience prevails. As we stand on the precipice of another hurricane season, gazing out at the vast expanse of the Atlantic, a sense of vulnerability can wash over us. The ocean, a source of life and beauty, can also unleash forces of unimaginable power. Yet we are not powerless. We can control our preparedness, our readiness to face the storm with courage and resilience. Preparation is not an option, it's an imperative. The time to prepare is now, before the first storm cloud gathers. It's about shifting our mindset from reaction to proactivity, taking practical steps to protect ourselves and our communities. The power of preparation lies in the peace of mind it brings. It's the confidence that comes from knowing we have a plan and can face the storm head-on. Knowledge is power. Staying informed. Accurate, timely information can be life-saving. Know when a storm is forming and its impacts. The National Hurricane Center provides reliable forecasts. Their website offers real-time tracking and updates. Follow their social media for expert insights. Local news and weather apps are also valuable. Sign up for emergency alerts and download a reliable weather app. Preparing for a hurricane is not just about tracking the storm's path. It's about taking concrete steps to protect our homes, our families, and our livelihoods. A little preparation can go a long way in mitigating damage, reducing stress, and ensuring our safety during and after the storm. Start by creating a family emergency plan. Discuss evacuation routes, designate a meeting place in case you're separated, and exchange contact information. Make sure everyone knows how to shut off utilities like gas, water, and electricity if instructed to do so. Assemble a disaster supply kit containing enough food, water, medication, and other essential items to last for at least 72 hours. Include a first aid kit, a battery-powered radio, flashlights, extra batteries, cash, and copies of important documents. Prepare your home by trimming trees and shrubs near your house, clearing gutters and downspouts, and bringing loose objects indoors. Consider installing hurricane shutters or boarding up windows if you live in a hurricane-prone area. Review your insurance policies to ensure you have adequate coverage for hurricane-related damage, including flood insurance, which is typically not included in standard homeowners policies. Take photos or videos of your belongings to create an inventory for insurance purposes in case of damage. While individual preparedness is essential, the true strength of a community is revealed in times of crisis. Hurricanes, by their very nature, test the bonds of community, but they also have a way of reminding us of our interconnectedness, our shared humanity, and our capacity for compassion and resilience. Building a more resilient community starts long before the hurricane warning is issued. It's about fostering a spirit of neighborliness, getting to know the people who live around us, and understanding the unique needs and vulnerabilities within our communities. Connect with your neighbors, participate in community preparedness events, and volunteer with local organizations involved in disaster response and recovery. These connections, built on trust and shared purpose, form the foundation of a resilient community, one that can weather the storm together. Remember, resilience is not just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward, about learning from our experiences, strengthening our bonds, and creating a future where we are better prepared to face the challenges ahead, together. The threat of hurricanes is real, and it's growing. But so too is our understanding of these powerful storms, our ability to predict their behavior, and our capacity to mitigate their impacts. We are not passive bystanders in this unfolding story. We are active participants, capable of shaping a future where coastal communities around the world can not only survive hurricanes, but thrive in their aftermath. Building a more resilient future requires a fundamental shift in our thinking and our actions. It's about recognizing that climate change is real, that it's driven by human activities, and that it's already impacting the frequency, intensity, and behavior of hurricanes. We must reduce our carbon footprint, transition to cleaner sources of energy, and embrace sustainable practices that protect our environment. We need to invest in resilient infrastructure, strengthen building codes, and promote responsible land use planning that reduces our vulnerability to natural disasters. But resilience is not just about bricks and mortar, it's about people, about communities, about the bonds that unite us. It's about fostering a culture of preparedness, where information is shared freely, resources are accessible to all, and no one is left behind. As we look to the future, a future shaped by a changing climate and the ever-present threat of hurricanes, one thing remains certain: we are not alone. We face this challenge together, as individuals, as communities, as a global community united by our shared humanity and our determination to create a safer, more sustainable future for all. The stories of hurricane survivors remind us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can endure. Their resilience, their compassion, their unwavering belief in the power of community serve as a beacon of hope, guiding us towards a future where we are better prepared to weather the storms together. Let us embrace the challenges ahead with courage, compassion, and a shared commitment to building a world where coastal communities, from the Gulf Coast to the Caribbean to the shores of Asia, can not only withstand the fury of nature, but emerge from the storm stronger, more united, and more resilient than ever before. For in the face of adversity, humanity's true strength is revealed, not in our ability to control the wind or the waves, but in our capacity to weather the storms.